Two 15-year-old kids, sitting in their bedrooms with nothing more than laptops and an internet connection, managing to humiliate one of the most powerful intelligence agencies on Earth. Yet that's exactly what happened in October 2015, when John Brennan was director of the CIA and the United States was sliding into autumn. A phone rang. An unknown number flashed on John Brennan's screen. "Hello," he said. "John Brennan," came the reply. Brennan paused. This was his private line. The caller began throwing insults. Brennan hung up, but the calls kept coming. When he finally picked up again, the voice bragged that finding his number had been easy. Brennan assumed it was a prank, or maybe blackmail, and asked how much the caller wanted. The answer: "We want $5 trillion. That absurd demand would soon trigger a federal investigation into one of the most embarrassing security breaches in U.S. history. Behind the voice was a teenage boy known online as Craka. He was 15, addicted to drugs, and leader of a hacker crew called CWA, Crackas With Attitude. From their bedrooms, CWA broke into accounts belonging to senior intelligence officers, police, and Justice Department employees. They exposed emails, private chats, and classified documents, some of which ended up in the hands of Julian Assange and were later published by WikiLeaks. CWA wasn't part of Anonymous, though many people confused the two. Their attacks, however, were bold enough to rival anything Anonymous had ever done. To understand how this chaos began, rewind to Virginia, 2008. Another teenager, nicknamed Default, spent his days playing football, gaming, and hanging out with his dog. One day, while searching online for game cheats, he stumbled into the world of hacking. What started as curiosity became an obsession. Back then, Anonymous was at its peak, waging cyber wars against governments and corporations. Default was fascinated. He learned quickly, joined a rival group called Anon-SEC, and began hacking websites just for the thrill. One night, he discovered something big: a server inside a Canadian medical school, Windsor University. Poking around, he found a record showing nearly $9.4 million owed to students. On the screen was a single button: delete all. He clicked it. The database was wiped clean. Default felt unstoppable. To him, this wasn't crime, it was rebellion. Soon, he was launching cyber campaigns with political motives. In 2014, he and others targeted Danish government websites in protest of an animal rights law. Their digital assault actually reached Parliament. Within months, the law was overturned. He was also one of the early Bitcoin adopters, storing thousands of coins on an encrypted drive, worth millions today. As his technical skills grew, so did his paranoia. He avoided using his home Wi-Fi, instead connecting through satellite dishes miles away, and built-in delays to decrypt his own hard drives. Then came 2013, and Edward Snowden's revelations about global surveillance. For young hackers like Default, it felt like confirmation of everything they'd suspected: governments were spying on everyone.
Default wanted revenge.
He wanted those who spied to feel the same exposure. That mission led him to Craka. Craka's anger stemmed from U.S. military actions in the Middle East, especially Gaza. Default shared his anti-establishment drive. Together, they became a volatile mix of political fury and digital genius. Craka began by collecting public data on intelligence officials. He learned that John Brennan used Verizon. Then, posing as a Verizon technician, he phoned internal support, used a fake employee ID, and tricked the representative into granting access. Soon, Brennan's personal AOL account and his private phone number were compromised. The harassment began almost immediately. Brennan received taunting calls, and screenshots from his hacked email appeared on Twitter. Default urged Craka to contact WikiLeaks. Within days, WikiLeaks published Brennan's SF-86 security clearance form, a 47-page document filled with deeply personal information. The CIA was humiliated. Damage control cost millions. But the teenagers didn't stop there. They hacked Mark Giuliano, the FBI's deputy director, and leaked data on 9,000 Justice Department employees and 20,000 FBI agents. Their leaks shook the foundations of U.S. cybersecurity. They believed they were untouchable. They weren't. One night, Default got careless. High in gaming with a friend named Nicebox, he bragged, "That was us." Nicebox reported him. The FBI traced the lead, raided Default's house, seized his computers, and confiscated his hard drives, including the one filled with Bitcoin. Across the Atlantic, British police arrested Craka, working alongside U.S. agents. Default faced federal charges. He pleaded guilty, served 5 years in prison, and was fined about $145,000. Much of his sentence was spent in solitary confinement. In court, he first justified his actions as political resistance. Years later, he admitted he'd been wrong. Craka, still a minor at the time, became one of the youngest people ever prosecuted for hacking national security systems. He keeps an extremely low profile today. Whether you see them as misguided activists or reckless teenagers chasing online fame, the message is unmistakable. When you challenge the machinery of a government's intelligence network, the price is steep. The saga of Craka and Default is a modern parable. Two kids with keyboards who momentarily exposed the fragility of global power, before that same power came crashing down on them. From teenage bedrooms to the CIA, the line between rebellion and crime is thinner than you think. Follow for more.